Roy Clark was more than just a musician. He was a legend. As a master of the guitar, banjo, and fiddle, he brought country music to millions through Hee Haw and electrifying live performances. But behind the fame was a man of resilience, passion, and humor who overcame challenges to leave a lasting legacy in country music. Join us as we explore the incredible life of Roy Clark, from his humble beginnings to becoming one of the most beloved entertainers of all time. Roy Linwood Clark was born on April 15, 1933, in Meherrin, Virginia, a small rural town known for its agricultural community. He was the eldest son in a family of 5 children, raised by Hester Linwood Clark and Lillian Clark. His early years were shaped by the hardships of the Great Depression, a time when financial struggles were common, especially in farming families like his. Clark's father was a tobacco farmer and a semi-professional musician who played multiple instruments, including the banjo, fiddle, and guitar. His mother, Lillian, was also musically inclined and played the piano. Music was a fundamental part of the Clark household, often serving as both entertainment and an emotional escape from the difficulties of rural life. From an early age, Roy Clark displayed a natural musical ability. His first instrument was a self-made creation, a cigar box with a ukulele neck attached, which he used to experiment with different sounds. As a child, he would watch his father and other local musicians play, absorbing their techniques and developing a deep appreciation for country and bluegrass music. However, Clark's early years were also marked by instability. During the Great Depression, his family was forced to move frequently in search of work. At one point, they relocated to New York City, hoping for better economic opportunities. However, city life was vastly different from the rural surroundings Clark had known, and adjusting to an urban environment proved challenging for the young boy. Eventually, at age 11, the Clark family settled in Washington, D.C., where his father secured a job at the Washington Navy Yard. Despite having to frequently adapt to new environments, Clark found solace in music. When he was 14 years old, his father taught him to play the guitar, marking the beginning of a lifelong passion. Soon after, he also learned to play the banjo and mandolin, but it was the guitar that truly captured his heart. He later said, "Guitar was my real love." Growing up, Clark was shy and reserved, which made socializing difficult. His love for country music set him apart from many of his peers, and he was sometimes mocked for his musical tastes. Feeling isolated, he turned to humor as a coping mechanism. Over time, this developed into a key part of his stage presence. He used comedy to win over audiences, making it a signature aspect of his performances. Clark's first public performances were small, often within his local community. His father encouraged him to embrace the stage, and by his mid-teens he had already developed impressive musical skills. His talent was undeniable, but his stage fright initially held him back. It wasn't until the mid-1960s that Clark felt comfortable performing without relying on humor to mask his nerves. The Clark family was built around hard work, faith, and music. Roy Clark's father, Hester Linwood Clark, was not just a farmer but also a dedicated musician who loved to perform for friends, family, and local gatherings. He hoped his children would share his love for music, and he personally guided Roy in learning multiple instruments. His mother, Lillian, while not a professional musician, contributed to the household's musical atmosphere by playing the piano and encouraging the children's artistic growth. Being one of 5 siblings, Clark grew up in a busy household where cooperation and resourcefulness were essential. While his brothers and sisters supported his musical journey, he was the only one who pursued it as a professional career. After moving to Washington, D.C., the family lived in a modest home, relying on Clark's father's wages from the Navy Yard. Despite financial difficulties, they remained close-knit. His parents emphasized the importance of resilience and dedication, values that Clark carried throughout his career. Clark and his family settled in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which he called home for most of his life. He was deeply involved in his local community and was honored in 1978 when a local elementary school was named after him, a testament to his impact beyond the music industry. Despite his fame, family always remained a priority. Even as he toured extensively, he made sure to spend time with his wife and children, maintaining a stable home life, a rare feat for a traveling musician. Roy Clark's rise to fame was marked by a combination of exceptional musicianship, a natural flair for comedy, and an undeniable stage presence. His journey through the world of country music and television entertainment spanned decades, making him one of the most beloved and recognizable figures in the industry. His career took off in 1954 when country music star Jimmy Dean invited him to join the Texas Wildcats as the band's lead guitarist. Clark's appearances on Dean's Town and Country Time program, first on radio station WARL-AM and later on WMAL-TV, brought him early exposure. In 1956, Clark made his first national television appearance, competing on Arthur Godfrey's Talent Scouts, a variety show that aired on CBS. He finished in second place, but the performance was a crucial step in launching his broader career. However, Clark's success with the Texas Wildcats was short-lived. Dean, known for his strict discipline regarding punctuality, grew frustrated with Clark's habit of being late and fired him in 1957. This marked a turning point in Clark's life. He left Washington, D.C. for good and sought out new opportunities elsewhere. At the time, Clark was gaining recognition as a rising guitarist, frequently performing on Dean's Town and Country Time radio and television show. His skill was undeniable, and his presence added to the band's appeal. But Jimmy Dean, known for his strict discipline and insistence on professionalism, had little tolerance for musicians who did not adhere to his standards. Clark's habit of arriving late to rehearsals and performances became an ongoing issue, and Dean, unwilling to make exceptions, made the difficult decision to fire him. For Clark, this was more than just losing a job. It was a crushing personal and professional setback. The Texas Wildcats had provided him with national exposure and the chance to perform alongside an established country music star. Being dismissed in such a public way threatened to damage his reputation and limit his future opportunities. Rather than staying in Washington, D.C., where the firing had tainted his image, Clark made a bold decision. He left the city permanently in search of a fresh start. This abrupt change, while painful at the time, turned out to be a crucial turning point in Clark's life. Instead of being confined to the role of a sideman, playing in the shadows of other musicians, he was now forced to carve out his own path. During this period, Clark didn't initially intend to become a country music recording artist or a television performer. He simply played the music he enjoyed, without a clear plan for a long-term career. However, as he continued to hone his skills, more doors opened. In 1959, he appeared regularly on George Hamilton IV's short-lived television show in Washington, D.C., further establishing himself in the entertainment industry. The 1960s were a pivotal decade for Roy Clark, marking his transition from a talented sideman to a nationally recognized entertainer. This period saw him expanding his career in multiple directions, from live performances to television appearances, laying the foundation for the stardom he would achieve in the decades to come. Clark's move to Las Vegas in 1960 was a strategic step in his career. At the time, Las Vegas was becoming a hotspot for top-tier musical acts, and Clark's ability to blend musicianship with comedic timing made him a natural fit for the entertainment scene. He joined a band led by Hank Penny, a well-known Western swing musician and comedian, which gave him exposure to a wider and more diverse audience. Performing in Vegas lounges and showrooms allowed Clark to refine his ability to connect with crowds, sharpening his stage presence and performance style. At the same time, Clark played in the backing band for rockabilly star Wanda Jackson, known as the Party Timers. Jackson was one of the most influential female figures in early rock and country music, and working alongside her helped Clark develop versatility in his playing style. This period exposed him to a mix of country, rockabilly, and pop audiences, broadening his appeal beyond traditional country fans. It was through his time with Jackson that Clark met Jim Halsey, a talent agent who would go on to represent him for the rest of his career. This partnership proved instrumental, as Halsey's guidance helped Clark navigate the industry and land opportunities that would elevate him from a supporting musician to a headlining act. A major career boost came in early 1960 when Clark was invited by Jimmy Dean to appear on The Tonight Show during Dean's stint as a guest host. Dean, despite having fired Clark from the Texas Wildcats 3 years earlier, still recognized his talent and gave him another chance. Clark performed 2 songs, impressing both the live audience and industry insiders. This performance led to his official solo debut on The Tonight Show in January 1963, a milestone that introduced him to a nationwide television audience. Appearing on such a high-profile program gave Clark a new level of visibility, solidifying his reputation as both a musical virtuoso and a charismatic performer. As his reputation grew, Clark became a regular presence on television, securing roles on major variety and comedy shows. One of his earliest acting opportunities came with the Beverly Hillbillies, where he played 2 distinct characters, businessman Roy Halsey and Roy's mother Myrtle. These performances showcase not only his comedic timing, but also his willingness to experiment with different roles, proving he was more than just a musician. His television career continued to flourish, with appearances on The Jackie Gleason Show, where he played a blistering rendition of Down Home, and later on The Odd Couple, where he delivered a stunning version of Malagueña. These appearances demonstrated Clark's ability to captivate audiences beyond the country music world, further expanding his fan base. In the mid-1960s, Clark landed his first co-hosting gig on Swingin' Country, a weekday daytime variety show on NBC alongside Molly B. and Rusty Draper. While the show was short-lived, lasting only 2 seasons, it helped solidify his television presence, proving that Clark had the charisma and stage presence to carry a program. More importantly, it set the stage for what would become his biggest career breakthrough. That breakthrough came in 1969 when Clark and Buck Owens were selected as co-hosts of the syndicated sketch comedy and country music variety show Hee Haw. The show blended corny humor, country music performances, and rural-themed comedy sketches, and it became an instant hit. Though originally conceived as a country music alternative to Rowan Martin's Laugh-In, Hee Haw quickly evolved into something iconic, capturing the hearts of millions of viewers across America. The show's success turned Clark into a household name, and for nearly 3 decades, 1969 to 1997, he remained at its center, playing music, delivering jokes, and engaging with fellow cast members. Hee Haw did more than just solidify Clark's celebrity status. It broadened the appeal of country music, bringing it into the homes of urban and suburban audiences who might not have otherwise been exposed to the genre. Clark's presence on the show showcased both his humor and his extraordinary musicianship, particularly his guitar, banjo, and fiddle skills. His ability to switch between being a comedian, a musician, and a television personality made him one of the most versatile entertainers of his generation. During his time on Hee Haw, Clark also became a key member of the $1 Million Band, an elite group of country musicians who regularly performed on the show. The band featured some of the finest musicians of the era, including Chet Atkins, Floyd Kramer, and Danny Davis, among others. This further solidified Clark's standing as a respected instrumentalist, proving that beneath his humor and charm lay a world-class musician. By the end of the 1960s, Clark had fully transitioned from a sideman and backup musician to a nationally recognized star. He had gone from playing in Las Vegas showrooms to headlining major television programs, establishing himself as one of the most beloved entertainers in country music history. His ability to seamlessly blend music and comedy set him apart from his peers, and his warm, engaging personality ensured that audiences would continue to embrace him for decades to come. While his television career flourished, Clark remained an active and highly sought-after musician. He toured extensively throughout the 1960s and 1970s, playing major venues across the country. In 1962, he signed with Capitol Records and released his first solo album, The Lightning Fingers of Roy Clark. The album received strong critical praise and built a loyal fan base. By the early 1970s, Clark had become the highest-paid country music star in the United States, earning an estimated $7 million per year, the equivalent of over $56 million in today's money. Clark later switched to Dot Records, where he continued to release successful albums. As the music industry evolved, he transitioned to ABC Records, which had acquired Dot, and eventually to MCA Records, where he continued recording throughout his career. His ability to cross genres, blending country, rockabilly, and pop influences, made his music appealing to a wide audience. Beyond music and television, Clark also left a lasting impact on the live entertainment scene. In 1983, he opened the Roy Clark Celebrity Theater in Branson, Missouri, becoming one of the first nationally known entertainers to establish a permanent performance venue in the city. His presence in Branson helped turn the town into a premier destination for country music performances. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Clark performed regularly in Branson before selling the venue in 1992. He continued to tour, albeit on a lighter schedule, and made annual appearances with Ramona Jones and the Jones Family Band at tribute events for Grandpa Jones, his former Hee Haw co-star, in Mountain View, Arkansas. On July 4, 1984, Clark played a historic concert in Washington, D.C., performing in front of a crowd of over 500,000 fans. The event featured an all-star lineup including Ringo Starr, the Beach Boys, Three Dog Night, George Jones, and B.J. Thomas. His ability to perform alongside artists from different genres showcased his musical versatility and broad appeal. Even in his later years, Clark remained active in the music world. He continued making guest appearances, mentoring young musicians, and performing at special events. His contributions were widely recognized, earning him numerous awards, including induction into the Country Music Hall of Fame in 2009, multiple Grammy Awards and CMA Awards, and a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Despite reaching the pinnacle of success, Clark remained humble, always emphasizing that he was just a musician who loved to play. Roy Clark's life was filled with music, fame, and success, but perhaps his greatest achievement was his enduring marriage to Barbara Joyce Ruppard. In an industry notorious for fleeting relationships and high-profile divorces, their union stood as a rare exception, a love story that lasted more than 6 decades. Their marriage was not just about companionship, it was a true partnership that played a significant role in shaping Clark's career and personal life. Clark met Barbara in the 1950s at a time when he was still an emerging musician searching for stability both professionally and personally. The two married in 1957, the same year he was dismissed from Jimmy Dean's band. While the loss of that opportunity might have been a setback in his career, Barbara's unwavering support became his foundation as he embarked on a new chapter. Unlike many artists who struggled to balance the demands of show business with their personal lives, Clark made a conscious effort to ensure his marriage remained strong. Barbara, in turn, became his greatest source of encouragement, standing by his side through every high and low. Though Clark's career required extensive travel, touring the country, performing in Las Vegas, appearing on television, Barbara remained a steady presence behind the scenes. She was not just a musician's wife. She was his rock, the person who grounded him amid the whirlwind of fame. When Clark became a household name with the success of Hee Haw, Barbara ensured that home remained a place of normalcy. The couple chose Tulsa, Oklahoma, as their permanent residence, a city far removed from the distractions of Hollywood or Nashville. There they raised 5 children, providing them with a stable and loving environment despite Clark's demanding career. One of the most remarkable aspects of their marriage was its lack of controversy. In an industry often plagued by scandals, divorces, and public feuds, Clark and Barbara maintained a private and unshakable bond. There were no tabloid headlines about their relationship, no messy breakups, just a quiet, enduring love that stood the test of time. Their ability to keep their personal life private while navigating the challenges of fame is a testament to the strength of their commitment. But their marriage wasn't just about avoiding scandal. It was about genuine love, respect, and shared values. Barbara played a vital role in keeping Clark grounded, making sure that no matter how famous he became, he never lost sight of his roots. She provided the emotional stability he needed to thrive, allowing him to focus on his music without losing himself in the trappings of celebrity life. She was present for every major milestone in his career, from his early television appearances to his induction into the Country Music Hall of Fame in 2009. Whenever Clark accepted an award or received a prestigious honor, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, multiple Grammy and CMA awards, Barbara was always there, just as she had been from the beginning. Beyond his remarkable career and enduring marriage, Roy Clark was known for his deep and lasting relationships within the entertainment industry. Over the years, he built strong friendships and professional connections with some of the biggest names in country music, comedy, and television, reinforcing his reputation as not only a brilliant musician, but also a generous and well-respected colleague. One of Clark's earliest and most significant professional relationships was with Jimmy Dean. Though their collaboration ended abruptly when Dean fired Clark in 1957 for his habitual tardiness, the experience was formative for both men. Clark never held a grudge, often reflecting on the event with humor and acknowledging that it was a turning point that pushed him toward bigger opportunities. As his career flourished, Clark formed a close bond with Buck Owens, his co-host on Hee Haw. Though they had distinct personalities, Owens being more reserved and business-minded, while Clark was warm and comedic, their chemistry was undeniable. The duo became one of the most beloved pairings in television history, entertaining millions with their humorous banter and musical performances. Despite occasional creative differences, Clark and Owens remained close for decades, each recognizing the other's contributions to the show's immense success. Clark also worked with country music legends like Red Foley and Ernest Tubb, both of whom were instrumental in shaping his early career. Performing alongside these pioneers helped him refine his style, blending traditional country sounds with his signature flair for showmanship. He carried those influences with him throughout his career, ensuring that the legacy of classic country music was preserved for future generations. In addition to his collaborations with individual artists, Clark was a key member of the Million Dollar Band, a group of elite country musicians who performed together on Hee Haw. The group included legendary names such as Chet Atkins, Floyd Kramer, and Danny Davis, among others. Their performances showcased not only Clark's immense talent, but also his deep respect for fellow musicians. Beyond the music industry, Clark was known for his philanthropic efforts. One of his most passionate causes was Wings of Hope, a humanitarian organization that provides medical air transport for people in need. An avid aviation enthusiast, Clark personally donated and raffled off one of his planes to support the charity's mission. His generosity extended to numerous other causes, from education initiatives to disaster relief efforts, proving that his influence went far beyond the stage. On November 15, 2018, the world lost Roy Clark, a man whose life had been dedicated to music, laughter, and connection. He passed away at the age of 85 at his home in Tulsa, Oklahoma, due to complications from pneumonia. His death marked the end of an era, leaving behind a legacy that transcended country music and television, influencing generations of musicians and entertainers. For over 6 decades, Clark had been a household name, captivating audiences with his exceptional musicianship, infectious humor, and warm personality. His work on Hee Haw brought country music to millions of homes, and his performances on stage and television left an indelible mark on American entertainment. His passing was deeply felt not only by his family and friends, but also by countless fans who had grown up watching him, listening to his music, and admiring his larger-than-life presence. As the news of his death spread, tributes poured in from across the entertainment industry. Fellow musicians, television personalities, and fans took to social media to share memories of Clark, recalling his extraordinary ability to make people laugh, move them with his music, and bring joy to everyone around him. Many spoke of his kindness and generosity, remembering how he always took time to mentor young artists, support fellow musicians, and contribute to the industry that had given him so much. Country music legends and rising stars alike paid homage to Clark's role in shaping the genre. His impact wasn't just about the songs he played or the albums he recorded. It was about the way he made country music accessible, fun, and inviting. Hee Haw, with its mix of humor and musical excellence, became a cultural staple, and Clark was at the heart of it all. He helped break barriers, bringing country music into mainstream homes, bridging generations, and ensuring that traditional country sounds reached new audiences. But perhaps the most heartfelt tributes came from those who knew him personally, his colleagues, family, and closest friends. They didn't just speak about his success, they spoke about his character. Clark was remembered not only as a gifted performer, but as a devoted husband, loving father, and true friend. He had built his career on humility, hard work, and an unshakable passion for music. And even as he reached the heights of fame, he never lost sight of the people and values that mattered most. Though Roy Clark is no longer physically present, his legacy continues to shine brightly. His music still resonates, his television moments still bring laughter, and his impact on the country music industry remains unparalleled. He paved the way for future generations of artists, proving that country music could be both entertaining and deeply meaningful. His contributions went beyond performance. He was a mentor to young musicians, a philanthropist who gave back to his community, and a man whose joy for life was evident in everything he did. His support for organizations like Wings of Hope demonstrated his desire to use his success for good, ensuring that his influence extended beyond entertainment into real-world change. In the years since his passing, Roy Clark's spirit has never faded. His timeless performances continue to be discovered by new generations of fans. His influence lives on in the work of artists he inspired, and his legacy is celebrated in country music halls, award shows, and heartfelt tributes. More than just an entertainer, Roy Clark was a symbol of joy, resilience, and the enduring power of music to unite people.